Hello and welcome to the Unified IELTS Academy. Have you ever wondered why some people finish the 40 questions in the reading test within 60 minutes and why some other people don't? This is because of certain factors we come into play during the test. These are the things I'm going to be discussing with you very quickly and offer you some tips which can help you to finish this test efficiently. Welcome back. Just a bit of introduction. My name is Bemiga Peter Olubayo and I will be your reading tutor. Consider me as a buddy walking you through the reading module. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, I need you to do that right now because we've got loads of resources already on the channel and even more coming your way. Let's start. The common problem, mistakes, or situation that occurs might be more than this, but these are what I could put together for now. So number one situation is candidates not attempting all the questions. Okay, so the instruction is to attempt all, and that should be your aim. Another thing is when people have to, some people think like it happened during my examination. There was a lady that was treating it like the listening test. So she answered everything in her booklet, thinking that she's going to have another 10 minutes to transfer her answers into the booklet. But to her amazement, that never happened, and she was crying, begging everybody. So do not make that mistake. You have to transfer your answer into your booklet straight away, even when you're not sure. You can mark your booklet, I mean your question booklet now. You can write everything, you can asterisk, you can cross, just to make sure you remember to come back to that question. But please fill in your answer booklet. That is what I would advise. And it also make sure you don't make the mistakes in your numbering, because at times, let's say you couldn't answer, you are not sure of the answer to question 32. Okay, so let's say you are not sure of the answer to question 32 and you leave a space and you already left a space for 32. By the time you want to answer 33, you might transfer the answer to 30 for that 33 into number 32 and continue like that. Meaning that uh, if you don't realize, that means you already missed, even no matter how good you are going to miss those questions, a lot of the questions. So that is why I would suggest that make sure you answer in your booklet as much as possible. Okay, you can asterisk, you can say you want to review later, or at the end of each question type, you are reviewing that. Okay, this is a reading test and you must read. But what will make the difference is that fulcrum, which is the ability to quickly comprehend what you read, which we now translate to answers. All right, let me repeat that. So, what will make a difference whether you are going to be able to manage your time effectively, attempt all questions, and still say that, oh, beat your chest that I'm not coming back to this examination because of reading tests. The difference is in your ability to quickly comprehend and decide what the correct answers are. Now, and to help you to do that, that means you must be able to read very quickly while you still comprehend what you've read. What will also help you to quickly comprehend and arrive at the most appropriate answer from my hand is the fact that you know the strategy for each question type. So in this case, let's say yes, no, not given, true, false, not given, matching the headings, matching paragraph information, matching sentence endings. All these 14 question types should be in your head, and you know, like when they wake you up from your dream, you know the thing to do stepwise if you have these question types before you. The other thing is your vocabulary. So let's say one thing that will waste your time is if you are not familiar with that topic. Okay, so let's say when we are talking about environmental degradation, environmental sustainability, people will talk about greenhouse effect, people will talk about oxide emission, people will talk about well, how do I put it now? Recycling, recyclables. People will talk about using green energy. Do you get what I mean? So now, if, for instance, you don't understand what this means and you have that topic before you, it will take a lot of time to comprehend and to arrive at your answer. So you must already be picking the tips that will help you already. So if you read and read and read, I mean IELTS topics, you are reading so much, you are broadening your scope, and you also try to develop how fast you are able to read, you are not going to be far from having that desired band score. Now, so having said that, what are the things that these are suggestions on what to do. So now, whether the questions comes in order or it doesn't come in order, meaning that for all question types, make sure that you do not treat any question in isolation. Always read more than one question at a time. So let's say under I have each passage will always have 13, 13, 14. That is the distributions of the question. So in passage one, it could be 13 questions. So my strategy could be I want to read all the 13 questions at first. Okay. So that also means that I'm able to remember, I have good memory. Okay. So, and I am not in that category. Even myself, I have to take them bit by bit. I take them questions wise. So, but I could quickly look at the questions, okay? But I major on the question type. I mean, the first question type. Usually, it will be 2 to 3 question type for those 13 questions. So I treat one question type at the minimum. I read all the questions that comes under it, and I'm not treating a question in isolation because if you do that, take for instance, in matching paragraph information. If you take a question, you would be wasting a lot of time. But if you have read all the specific information given, you knowing fully well that you might find one before the other one. So, and that will help you save time. So these are simple things we need to be aware of. Take for instance also question like multiple choice question or true false not given, yes no not given, that also comes in order. So the fact that I've located the answer to question number 2, I know they come in order. I would then closely read everything before that. So I answered the most simple question first that I could answer because I have read through all the questions. I'm not going to look for, if question 1 happened to be the most difficult for me, then I won't waste more time on that. And the fact that I'm able to answer the simplest one for me, it will also pinpoint where I should be looking at for the one I'm finding difficult. So that is one. Now, talking about reading quickly, do not never ever read words word by word. Okay, so when I'm treating matching heading, for instance, I cast my eyes on the whole passage. Okay, so or the whole paragraph. So, and from a whole paragraph, I go to one or more sentences at a time. So I'm not using my pen to trace words because research has shown that when you trace words, your reading speed is limited. You'll be slow. So I cast my eyes on 1 or 2 sentences. Whenever I see an example coming up, I don't really pay an attention. I just read quickly to see whether it will be important for the next question type. So I hope this will help you. Never trace with a pen. Never read one word at a time. Read full sentences, like that. Now, do not never ever skim the passage first. Now, however, don't forget that all I'm saying, they are my suggestions about what could work, and they are based on common sense. Now, it could work differently for another person, so you don't have to do everything I say, but you have to have a strategy that works. So, but generally, I believe that you don't have to skim the passage first. So, the first thing is the title of the passage and then straight to question number 1. For instance, if I'm treating yes, no, not given now, I look at the title of the passage, I go straight to the questions. Do you get what I mean? I go straight to the questions, then I go straight to paragraph A. So, or from the keywords, I quickly scan if it's something I could scan. I quickly scan for the first thing, anything that could lead me to any of the answers. Do you get what I mean? So that is yes, no, not given now. I don't have to literally start from paragraph A in yes, no, not given. So let me repeat that so you get what I mean. So I'm not going to skim the whole passage first. Skimming is you having an idea of the whole paragraph passage. So a lot of people, some tutor will say you should skim the passage first, but your aim for sitting that examination is not to come out of that examination and be able to narrate the story to another person or to your tutor. Your aim is to answer, attempt all questions and get out. And I don't care whether you remember anything that come out or not, but you should be able to answer all the questions. So no need of understanding the passage as it were, word for word. But what you need to do, so let's take yes, no, not given now. In yes, no, not given, I know that I've read through the questions, I know the keywords, okay? Then I will quickly scan for the keywords. Any of the keywords that I find, whether it's question number 4, I could attempt that, okay? And I'll use it to trace the other ones. Use it to trace, but I'll start from the most obvious keywords, okay? So, and moving on to my fourth point here, so that also means that the keywords I'm going to be scanning for, so I've moved away from skimming now. I'm not talking about scanning. What I'm going to be scanning for is any of the questions, what I will attempt to answer first, okay, if I'm not sure, is those keywords that have names, date, and numbers because they cannot change, okay? So if there is 11 in that passage, it's going to be 11. So if it is 1901, the only thing that could be in my question is 28th century. And when I see 1901, I know that is also 28th century. So that cannot change. 1901 cannot change to 1920. Do you get what I mean? So that is it. You can scan for numbers, dates, and names. All right. So now having a good time spread is very important. So, you don't have to spread them like equally across board. So you also know which question is simple for you to approach. So once you find the answer, move on. But the general rule of thumb is that spend 15 minutes on the first passage, 20 on the second, 25 on the last one, because it is expected that the last passage will be complex. But to be sincere with you, this never happened to me when I was preparing. So you should know the trend during your practice, which passage is much more difficult or complex as far as you are concerned. So use this spread. Once you get to 15 minutes on the easiest one, which also could be the question type you find easier to do, move on, choose an answer and move on. Okay, so once again, I'm saying attempt or question. If you aim for band 7, that is 30 to 32. So if you have been scoring 35 in your practice, there is higher chances that if you attempt 40 questions, you will get that 30 to 32, okay? Rather than you attempt 33, okay? So please, no matter what, make sure you attempt all questions. Now, I've talked about copying answers directly. It will save you time, minimize your mistake. Now, familiarize yourself with all question types. Still going back to that IELTS strategy. So familiarize yourself with the question types and the trap they set for you. Like multiple choice questions, there are certain traps they set, like they will put the same word as it appears in the question in the passage, they will put it in a wrong option. So once I see that word coming out, I literally cross out that option, no matter how good it looks like. Do not attempt something new in the examination. It's not going to work. It's going to stress you out and make you burn. Practice with time, not less than 2 months before your examination. You should be practicing 40 questions at a go under examination condition, not when you're on duty. Get that time from your husband, from your wife, from your children. Get 1 hour and practice and use that to judge yourself whether you're doing all right. So, and please give time out to review your answers as much as possible. It will save you a lot of mess. Like the case I mentioned, you have moved the answer because you left the space for question 32. You now answer 33 in 32, and you have continued like that. Without reviewing your answer, you won't be able to sort out that mess, okay? No matter what I've mentioned today, there is one more thing. Nothing beats investing into your overall competencies development. Nothing. So nothing can beat that. So, and into these overall competencies, that will take you back to these things. So you remember I used to cite an example of when I was learning how to drive. I don't need to tell you that again. A learner takes a lot of time to get onto the major road, but sound drivers will just go pew, and that is what makes the difference. The overall competencies, that is what makes the difference. Okay. Now, and lastly, no matter what the time management management tips you are looking for, I want you to know once again, which is still the same thing as what I've said, that time is not your biggest enemy. Time is not the time is not what is against you in higher. Something else is. So if you this was one thing someone took from one of the was it a webinar I held in January this year, and that changed everything about her. And she came back with band 8 or 8.5 or thereabout, someone that has been doing 5.5. But she remembered that I made mention of the fact that time is not your biggest enemy. Something else is that the same number, the same 60 minutes is what you have with every other candidate that goes into that examination or comes back with a good band score, which as an illustration, so like what I've put here, if they place myself and Ronaldo, see Ronaldo, give us an empty net, give us the same time, he is going to he's going to score higher than myself just because of competencies. Examination is not the time to look at what's the meaning of this thing. Okay, you should be able to judge contextually that this is what it means and judge aright. So that is what we are talking about. The strategy you are employing should be what you have tried and that is trusted. Okay, so that is majorly what I have to say to you regarding time management today. If you've actually watched the video until the very end, I would say congratulations and thank you. I'll be coming your way next time. Until then, I need you to stay happy, stay well, and all the best in your IELTS preparation and in the actual test. Bye.